Josh Pate hates Clemson. He joins the mirage of all the big media names, whether they're on YouTube or on massive network. I just created a new word there. Who openly hates Clemson. And we know this, and I know I'm late to the party here. I'll talk about that in a second. But about 4 days ago, he had to clarify what he said about the Tigers, and a bunch of Clemson fans got mad. Because, Josh, you made a big mistake, sir. You told the truth. And you never tell the truth to a fan base. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'm glad you're here checking out the channel. If you like talking Clemson football, you like talking college football, and you like to hear someone get so worked up they, I don't know, use improper grammar, welcome. I hope you'll subscribe. It is free, and I do appreciate it. So, Josh Pate, before I even get into that, let me tell you this. This week has been so slammed. That, and when I say slammed, I'm talking about I've been so slammed this week, so busy that I was unable to make a video until now about this. But I saw it when it happened. And I went, oh no, here we go. And then he made a video to address initial comments that he made about Clemson's recruiting class. Now, I have my phone here with the sound turned off because I don't want a copyright strike. But I am going to read what he said about Clemson. I'm going to read from the closed captioning. So this is going to sound a little choppy here, but here we go. This is what everybody got mad about. In 3 straight cycles, Clemson has finished outside the top 10, and now they're outside of the top 25, all right, in recruiting. So Clemson's football players that are accumulating on the roster are not good enough to meet the standard they've set there unless something drastically changes or unless their development laps the rest of the sport or the recruiting rankings were just totally flawed. Unless something like that is amiss, they're not going to be able to keep up this year. This year's team, will actually be the best shot they have. He's talking about it'll be the next, that this 2025 season will actually be their best shot to contend. If you go look at his other videos, he's high on Clemson, but he made a mistake. He told the truth. I'm going to get into that in just a second. I'm going to continue reading this. This is their best shot in 2025 over the next several years to basically contend for a national championship. I'm adding that myself. All right? It is not the elite level or standard that Clemson has. Okay? If you have a football team like Clemson, he is actually complimenting you. He's saying that for elite football teams, the vast majority of them recruit at a high level. Where is the man wrong? Clemson's recruiting has not been as good as it once was. Where is the man wrong? Oh, it's just because he hates Clemson. Is that really our answer to this? Josh Pate was right. Now, there's a lot of nuance here, and I don't want to spend all of my time having to explain myself, but I'm going to have to explain myself. Here's the deal. For roughly the past 5 seasons, Clemson has been doing this. They're recruiting since 2021. I think they were ranked number 5 according to 24/7 Sports in recruiting. That's the same class that brought in Barrett Carter, Jeremiah Trotter, Nate Wiggins, Tristan Lee, Phil Maffa, Will Shipley. I'm forgetting more people, but it's like, whoa, all the big names that's been playing for the past 2 or 3 years. That was our last really good recruiting class. And since then, yes, we've brought in players like Peter Woods. Unbelievable. Yes, last year we brought in TJ Moore and we brought in Bryant Wesco. Exceptional. But as a whole, Clemson's recruiting has also been going down. this is true. The other day, I asked the question to everyone who's just worried, sleeplessly worried about Clemson's running back situation next year. And they're overlooking all the talent that's coming back. And mind you, having a really good running back is a big deal, sure. But considering that Clemson has all the starters coming back on the offensive side and the defensive side, 8 on the offense, 7 on the defense, if my memory serves me correct. We have Tom Allen there, have Matt Luke in year 2 with 4 returning starters on the offensive line. You have Cade and Garrett going into year 3 together. You have Cade, year 3 starter. You have a kicker that if you can actually block for him, can kick the ball from Clemson to easily. You have the majority of the toughest games that Clemson will play this coming season, including the season/home opener against LSU at Clemson. This is a pretty good setup. And I said, for all of y'all who are ready to throw away the season because of the questions in the running back room, which, mind you, is a big deal, y'all need to be concerned about 2026. Don't y'all even look at how many players we won't have then, most likely. And then at that time, the tables turned. It's like playing a Q&A with somebody with psychosis. Suddenly, I asked the wrong question or said the wrong thing there. I brought up the quarterback situation. Oh, well, Tate Reynolds has got this. What? Excuse me? I hope he does. Remember that guy that was committed to us for a long time? What was his name? Blake Hebert? I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. I'm sure you do. He was supposed to be a Clemson Tiger. Is he? No. Christopher Vizina has been sitting for what, 2 seasons? And do you feel comfortable? The point that Pate was making is that for Clemson to continue to try to climb back up the mountain, and by the way, Clemson's not there. This 2025 season, Clemson could start doing that again. That could start affecting recruiting in a great way. The new collective where the money's being spread out to where everybody's getting paid and a push for collectives and blah, 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 blah. All the whole NIL stuff. That could totally change everything. And I agree with that. But I am saying Josh Pate was right and is right. Also, again, the guy's been praising Clemson for this coming season, but he is talking about the future for Clemson. It's true. You ask yourself this, when Clemson won 2 national championships in a 3-year period, did they have a so-so quarterback? No. They had Deshaun Watson, and he was unbelievable. Coming out of high school, Deshaun Watson was a pretty big deal. He's setting all these records in the state of flipping Georgia. Clemson got him. And he lived up to the hype and more. Trevor Lawrence, a phenom coming out of high school, came in, won a national championship in his first year. And I'm using the quarterback situation right here to make a point. When Deshaun Watson was sitting on the bench behind Cole Stout, he was pushing him out of the way. People were up in the stands whispering, going, hey, you think they'll put Watson in? You think they'll put Watson in? That was it. You remember when Kelly Bryant, a really good athlete, got us to the college football playoff. He starts the season. You think they'll put Trevor in? Come on, they got to put Trevor in. Kelly's a really good athlete, but he doesn't have the arm this guy has. Will you put... When DJ took over in 2021, I forget everything we know about DJ right now, but we felt pretty good. You know why? Because in his freshman year, he came in and to this day, he threw for more yards against Notre Dame than they've ever had thrown against them in their stadium. Ever. And we felt good because of that. Well, once things started, the wheels started coming off there, Cade came in, and we're like, man, are y'all going to put Cade in? Cade looks pretty good. No one is doing that, and I'm not knocking Vizina. With Vizina, we can go across the country and look at different programs. I mean, for years now. Good grief. Tua knocked Jalen Hurts out of the running in a national championship game. I could keep going with this, make this video much longer. My point in all of this is Josh Pate was correct and is correct. Now, if I felt like Josh was wrong, I disagreed with him last year. He was kind enough to interact with my videos. Josh, I was shocked that he did it. This guy has 340,000 subscribers. I have a channel right now of about 7,500. Last year when he interacted with me, I want to say I didn't even have 4,000 subscribers. So it was really nice of him, very kind of him, and so on. But I disagreed with him about the transfer portal. I told him, hey, it's the coaching. And that if y'all will be honest with yourself, one of the main reasons you're excited about this coming season is not just because Clemson has all these returning starters. It's because Dabo is putting more and more experience on the coaching staff. End of story. Because coaching matters. Ask Tuscaloosa, Alabama about how they feel about coaching. It matters. I've used this example several times here in the past few months. Look in college basketball. Louisville has been terrible for the past 2 or 3 years. Last year, I don't even know if they won 7 or 8 games. This year, they're going to make the NCAA tournament because they went and got a guy out of College of Charleston who is incredible at coaching, and he's turned the thing around in his very first season. Rick Pitino took over St. John's 2 years ago. This is year 2. These guys are what, in the top 10? Coaching matters. I don't care if you're playing football, basketball, you're flipping quarters over in the corner. Coaching matters. That's one of the reasons that we're excited. But the players on the field matter as well. And he made a great mistake of telling us Clemson fans that. Now, here's the deal. And I know the comment section's lighting up, and I haven't got there yet. Can't see it. Don't need to see it right now because I have the attention span of a 3-year-old with a butterfly going around my head. I won't be able to pay attention. So if you've said hello to me, hello to you. I don't know it yet. Here's what I want to get across here. Clemson fans, and I'm going to challenge every one of you. I've lost some subscribers recently. They point blank told me, we unsubscribed for you because you raised some points basically we didn't like. Okay, all right. I didn't know that a game, let's pause here. Let's set some boundaries here. I love Clemson football. Hence the channel. I grew up there. I can tell you how to properly pronounce Clemson. It's with a P in between the M and the S. Clemson. You say it like that, you'll be fine. And anyone else on the outside who's laughing and go, well, actually, that's the local saying it. Listen, if you went to Italy today, you went to Naples, and you asked them how to say something, and they said it some way that maybe the scholarly approach would be like, yeah, actually, you technically don't supposed to do that, but it's such a beautiful language for the locals that actually we just say it that way. Yeah, they do that crap to us Southerners all the time where they try to correct us. But if you went to Italy or Canada or Australia or Tokyo, which I know Tokyo's in Japan, you go to any other place, they'd never correct them because that would be offensive. But with Southern people, sorry, they do it all the time. It's just they love that discrimination. It's Clemson with a P. There we go. My point in all of this is that football though I love to rant and rave about it, like to get worked up over it, the truth is, listen to me, football doesn't matter. So if it doesn't matter, why can't we tell the truth about it? The truth is, Clemson's recruiting has been doing this. Clemson's coaching has been doing this until recently. And why has that changed? I'll tell you why. Because Dabo stopped hiring a bunch of first-year guys and guys who had never coached. And I beat that drum and beat that drum and beat that drum and beat that drum, and people went, listen, I'm tired of hearing about this. Listen, y'all, if you have a flat tire on a car, I don't care how good your race car driver is. I don't care how good the pit crew is. I don't care how many games or how many races you've won in the past. You have a flat tire and you're not going to win at a high level until you flip and change it. And that's one of the reasons we're starting to get all excited and stuff about this coming season. It's not just those returning players. But Pate messed up and told the truth. And Josh Pate, if you or your team sees this video up to this point, I hope you hear this as well. Josh Pate, you need to understand something about Clemson fans. That there is a segment of Clemson fans who are not Clemson fans. Me, born and raised in the shadows of Death Valley. I mean, I have the accent and all of it. Can't fake this. But I love Clemson. I'm not going to lie to myself about the Tigers. I'm going to tell the truth in hopes that the truth, the problems, but you expose it, will be fixed. I'm ecstatic that we have really good coaches starting to come in. I think there's more hires that needs to be made, but I'm feeling pretty good about it right now. But there is a group of fans, Josh Pate, you need to hear this, that they are not Clemson fans. They run around in the orange and white. They go to games. They'll be at games that I'm not at, and they'll see them there. They are Dabo Swinney fans. Now, I appreciate Coach Swinney. Coach Swinney is one of those guys. He's won 2 national championships. Okay? Whether people love or hate the man, he's won 2 national championships. I respect that, but they are not Clemson fans. They're Dabo fans, masquerading as Clemson fans. Dabo could drop his drawers right now in the middle of a conference room, lay a creamy turd right in the middle of the room, and then proceed to pull out plastic spoons and stab it down in it, turn around and look at him and goes, if y'all are all in, y'all better eat that. And they would fight one another to the death to chew up his excrement. Disgusting? Is that a ridiculous, childish, immature example I just gave? Abso-flippin-lutely. Is it true? I wouldn't be shocked if that went down just like I said, if Coach Swinney did that. You don't say anything against Clemson's recruiting, because if you say something true about Clemson's recruiting, you're actually saying something about Dabo Swinney. And they don't like that. They don't like it when I told them over the past few years that Coach Swinney made a mistake on hiring a bunch of inexperienced guys. I said that. I said it boldly. I took a lot of crap for it. A lot of people don't like me for it. But guess who was proven right? I had to sit and be told over and over for years that I was wrong until I was proven right. So, Josh Pate, you need to understand that there are Dabo Swinney fans, cult members, that I don't even think he would be okay with. Hopefully. I don't think so. That they're masquerading as Clemson fans. And so they're the ones who really get upset about this. They're the ones who always goes, Dabo's got this, kind of like he's God or something. It's like, y'all, he's a human being. He's a human being who I appreciate what he's done, but he's fallible. We're all fallible. They're the same people who when you criticize how things went over the past few years, Josh Pate, they would tell me, well, Dabo Swinney can do whatever he wants to. Well, if you listen to people like Nick Saban or people who's won at an extreme level and had longevity, they'll tell you quite the opposite. They'll tell you, hey, if you want to have success, you can't do anything. There's a certain path, a certain discipline or disciplines that you have to follow. And that is how you not only gain success, that's how you sustain it. So you can't, no matter what your culture's like or how many games you've won or you've won some national titles, that doesn't mean that you can hire anybody. That doesn't mean you can put anyone on the field. So Josh Pate, you actually are probably running into the Dabo fans, the Dabo cult. That they're not even really Clemson fans. They're Dabo cult members, and I'm not saying that towards Coach Swinney. I'm talking about the people themselves. And again, Clemson, Clempson. Like I say Norfolk, Virginia, but everybody else says it where it sounds like they're saying the F word. Everybody says it that way because the locals, from what I understand, say it that way. But me, I feel really uncomfortable doing that. But there we go. I want to end on this note because, and I'm going to get into the comments section here in just a second. I want to get into this in just a second. And say hello. I'm seeing a bunch of people hop in here. I saw some familiar faces. I'm glad to see it. Okay, here we go. We should feel cautiously optimistic about this season. I'm borrowing that phrase from one of you. I can't remember which one it is. I think it might have been Roger Parks. Forgive me if I got the name wrong, but that's a really, really good way of approaching this season. Clemson has 8 starters returning on the offense, 7 returning on the defense. The guys that are not starters have played significant time on, especially on the defense. We're seeing Coach Swinney hire guys like Tom Allen who are not only experienced and have a lot of years in the game, they have great experience. We have Matt Luke. I'm really excited about Mike Houston being there from ECU. The guy can coach. And having a guy like that around the program is a good idea. Having guys like Matt Luke there and pulling these guys in. The changes we're seeing with NIL, the approach to retention and acquisition, great. Dabo Swinney went in and he brought in an NFL scout with over 20 years experience. And that's a message he's also sending to everybody. This is not semi-pros. This is the pros now. We call it semi-pro, but it's the pros now. They're being paid a lot of money. So, I'm going to bring in a guy who's been in the NFL and just let him run it. There's a lot of good things for Clemson football this year, and I believe that Clemson football could have its best season since 2018. I'm not predicting them to win the national championship, but I am predicting that Clemson, with the talent that they have and the coaching that they are bringing in, have brought in, I truly believe, maybe I need some medication if I'm wrong, I truly believe this could be a special season. On paper, which the game is not played on, it should be. If Clemson loses 3 games in the regular season this year, and I was talking to a Clemson fan who eats, sleeps, breathes Clemson football more than I do. If there was a special moment in Clemson football, he was probably there. I was talking to him recently, and he said he agreed with me. He said, "Oh, it would be a catastrophic failure if Clemson lost 3 regular season games this year." That's not being spoiled, folks. That's not being spoiled. That's, you look at the talent, you look at the coaching, and you look at your opponents, where the games are played, and then you go 1 + 1 = 2. It does not equal 3, 4, or 7. Cautiously optimistic. we have a really good chance of doing some good things this year. Could that fix recruiting? And I know I've heard some people say stuff, well, we had a limited number of scholarships. What does that even have to do with the quality of player you're bringing in? In fact, that should flip the way that you approach scholarships and go, we better get the best of the best. If you only have 3 scholarships, I know we have more than that. If you only have 3 scholarships, are you going to offer it to the Three Stooges, or are you going to offer it to Superman, Batman, and Iron Man? Duh. If you have limited scholarships, you better go after the players that are big time. You can only bring in 3 of them. They better be doggone good recruits. Because the Stooges, they're not going to cut it. They may cut it against Furman. They may cut it against Virginia, who continues to get worse. But they are not going to cut it against LSU. They're not going to cut it against South Carolina, Louisville. Georgia Tech is a game that everybody should have circled. I think that's going to be a tough game. That's week 3 in Atlanta. Dadgum. So there's all these reasons why Clemson's recruiting is not this or that. Again, not bombing the Tigers, not bombing Dabo. I'm just saying Josh Pate was right. And he peppered his entire statement with a lot of really good, legitimate compliments. So there we go. Let's get in the comments section. Get to the very top of this sucker. You got Bleach Orange in here. Tiger Nate, hey there, Brian. Starting my master's thesis soon on the transfer portal. Pray for me. Tiger Nate, you and I have been together for a while. I remember when you were just going to Clemson. Now you're doing your master's thesis. I like that. Got Blood Orange in here. I do think the program is headed in the right direction due to the coaching hires, and don't necessarily agree with Josh's take. But yeah, the recruiting rankings are down, and we don't want that. Recruiting has to be better, and Clemson is a special place. And Sweeney is setting up Clemson now in a way to where we're getting more and more competitive in the NIL world. And we are getting more competitive in the transfer portal. And he's going to bring in the players that he wants. But folks, I'm telling you this. The game has changed. And in the high school, which that's what we say we're going after, is high school talent. Quarterbacks are expensive, folks. And so I'm interested to see how that goes. I really don't know. Sid Irish is in here. May there, Brian. Good to see you, my friend. One off here with the recruiting isn't the end of the world. Plus 3 added through the portal, so they should have us winning it all. Good to see you, Roger Parks. Thanks for supporting the channel. I see the symbol beside your name. It means the world to me, man. Roger Parks has been supporting the channel for a while. See somebody else in here. I'm about to get to you. But you know, I agree. You and I normally agree together on a lot of things, Roger Parks, and we don't necessarily disagree here. I'm just saying I think that recruiting has got to get better. I really believe it has to get better. And I just hope we're not moving too slow in making certain changes, because you can get into a talent. There's a gap in talent. And like he said, unless you're going to out-develop everybody by laps, we could have some problems there. Could be wrong with me the first time. I would gladly be wrong on this, but I've heard him say that before. He doesn't hate Clemson. He said he admired Sweeney for what he built. He's telling that we saw a gradual slide out of the top 20 class this year. Of course, I was making fun. I know he doesn't hate Clemson. Good to see you go, Tigers. That was before the NIL destroyed football. Good to see you, Mel Graves. Oh, my old buddy. I like Josh Pate, but he's a show me state kind of guy. Parker Henderson, see the symbol beside your name. Thanks for supporting on a monthly basis. I was thinking about you. And, dude, your son playing baseball is fantastic. He has a young son who is unbelievable. He's very talented young man. One day, play for the Tigers, hopefully, and then go play for the Braves and win a World Series. So good to see you, Parker Henderson. We need to talk soon. I miss your brother as well. I need to talk to Chase. Joe Mullins, Josh is correct. Recruiting has slept. There are numerous holes on both sides of the ball. We love to smoke that hopium. Regarding how these 3 stars were born, we have some great players. Oh my God, hopium. I love that, Joe Mullins. Joe Mullins, I love hopium. I'm going to try to remember that. We have some great players. I agree with you. I agree with you. Some. Got Jamie Stone in here. Mr. Durkins just got me some fajitas. Came back and you were on. Go Tigers. Good to see you, Jamie Stone. Where did you get those fajitas? Just throw it in the comments section. Because I know we live in the same general area, I believe. Roger Parks, great point. If you're only going to dabble in the portal, you have to have top 10 classes. I do agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And Roger Parks, I may do a video on this later. But I'm a person who I don't care if I have to admit I'm wrong later. I just want to be right. I heard someone say this, and really smart guy, very successful guy said this. If you have an approach with a lot of things in life, if it's wrong until proven right, you'll be in a good shape. And I know a lot of people, that's like, whoa, that's too negative for me. But no, it actually makes you seek out, what is the truth? What is the truth? And I thought about this, Roger Parks, and I'm only going to give y'all a taste of this because I'm going to do a video on this. I'm going to do a video on this. Might bring my buddy TJ on, might bring on some other people, maybe put together a whole series on it. But if you had to pay a player, follow me here. Oh, I don't like playing players. That's not the discussion. It's here whether we like it or not. If you have to pay a player, would you rather pay a player who's fresh out of high school that, yes, they could be really good, but they've never played this game? Or if you're going to pay a player, would you rather pay someone who got into college, did really well, and they realize that they can yield their services for a lot of money, and in turn, you get to win? And I was talking to my dad about this, and I troubleshoot with my dad, and I bounce ideas off of him, bounce ideas off of a few other people who would just sit and listen to me run my mouth, and they're kind and let me do that. And I'm leaning more towards you would pay a player coming out of the transfer portal. Well, he wasn't for you coming out of high school. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Yes, they were before NIL. Look at that. College football addictions in here. It's one bad recruiting class. It's not the end of the world. We got a new front office with hires for a player. Operation Class 2026 has to be a big jump for us. I hope so. I agree with what you're saying. I just hope that we don't dabble or continue to move too slow. I hope that the players we go after is the players we go after, whether they're coming out of high school or whatever, you know. Let's see. Drew. There's still a segment of our fan base that wants Danny Ford to come back. That is true. Bobby Durkins. Good to see you, SEC, dog. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. You're doing right, brother. I would bet that Dabo watches this channel seeing the coaching hires he's making. Oh, yeah. He probably does watch now. I don't know. Let's get on down here. I forgot to bring my spoon. Mitchell Hip. Yeah. I'm afraid how many people would actually take me up on the eating the excrement. I'm telling you. Good. Yes. As long as you don't play 3 SEC teams, you'll beat up on the ACC middle schoolers. Good job, Dabo. Hey, talking some good trash in here. Oh, man. That was tongue-in-cheek. I love it. That's it. That's a great question, mind of Alexander. I'd like to see Danny around the program. Hey, dude. Hey, Hamp, and thanks for supporting the channel. You go over to Pendleton. or in the central Clemson area, you'll see Danny Ford all the time. In fact, I talked to someone about 3 or 4 months ago. I said, I thought about reaching out to Danny Ford and see if he'd come on my channel. Danny is, you can see him around those areas and so on. Everybody knows Danny Ford. Dadgum. And one of my family members said, they told me a place he eats like once or twice per week, and they see him there all the time. So I've never approached him, but I would love to talk to him about what went on at Clemson. And not trying to dredge up anything, I would love to hear his take and just be like, look, don't be diplomatic. Tell me the flipping truth. What was it like in those admin meetings? The guys who got rid of you, who they hated you more than they loved Clemson winning. And that's literally sent Clemson into a spiral until Swinney came along. Really. That's how I understand it. Well, folks, y'all take care of yourself. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. Remember, it is free. It does support the channel. Folks, I'm getting close to 7,500 subscribers. Last year, this time, before the season started, I'll tell you this. I can't remember how many subscribers I had. It was like 3,500, something like that. And I said, I hope to get to 4,000. Got to 4,000. Now I'm at 7,500. Channel's, 2.5 years old or so. So it's doing really well. I'm having fun on here talking about college football. If you like what I'm doing, I hope you will subscribe. Y'all are good people. I hope you have a great Saturday night. Who knows if it's going to be freezing, if it's going to be warm. I think next week it's supposed to get into the high 60s, maybe, and hit the 70s, and then go back down to cold. It's nuts. It's crazy. I had snow on the ground a couple of days ago, and then I was throwing a football with my son with some sunshine today. Who knows? Y'all be good. Have a good evening. As always, go Tigers.